Chris, first off, to be back in Tassie and bringing the boys down here again this year, tell us about how it's gone so far.
Yeah, we've had a great camp. I've been really pleased with the way we've trained. That's mostly what we come down here. We do a normal week, but we train in cooler weather. You know, it's pretty hot and humid in Brisbane at this time of year. So to come here to this oval, it's in fantastic condition. The weather's been perfect for us, and the players' attitude's been outstanding. So I feel like we're a long way advanced on where we were at the same stage last year. We all know each other a little bit better, and some of those boys that we drafted are a year older, and the guys we picked in this year's draft are a pretty exciting bunch and already quite physically mature. So things are pretty positive at the moment, but we haven't played a game, so we'll just see.
What's the benefit of coming to Tasmania, Chris? People are going to heat and all over the place, and
yep.
And you guys have gone another way for a second year in a row.
Yeah, I think because we train in the heat so often, there's a chance of fatigue. I mean, the Victorian teams go up there to get fatigued, you know, but we have to cop it all the time. So I think, you know, you've got to manage. One of the big things you've got to manage over the course of a football season is energy, and I think the week out from the heat is good for us. And the fact that the other thing we've done to mitigate the heat really is that on a Wednesday night we train pretty much at 5 o'clock when the sun's going down, and we think that helped us last year to manage our energy well, and we've sort of stuck with that program this year.
You say you're feeling a little bit better at this point now than you did this time last year. What do you put that down to?
12 months together. They understand the game plan more. The culture that the leadership group have tried to put in place is now in place. Our players are a bit older and stronger. They've played together a bit more. All those factors, I think, cause that to occur.
And Luke Hodge, of course, big ticket signing. What's he brought to the club so far in your eyes?
Look, Hodgie's been a fantastic player, but I think we all got woken up to the fact this year what a great organiser he is on field, and that game where he was mic'd up against Adelaide, I think everyone saw that. I've known that for a long time. I always felt during the year that we needed a player that out on the field that could help organise on the ground, coach on the ground, because we're so young. And you know, as it's turned out, he's been available to come up and join us for a couple of years at the end of his career, and you know, the coaching he can do out on the field and also the guidance he can give off the field, it's just outstanding. There's no better role model than Hodgie in the game, and I think our blokes are really enjoying what he's passing on to them, and you know, rubbing shoulders with one of the all-time greats.
Has he said that it's renewed his interest in football, I guess, that new challenge and taking on something different to him?
Yeah, probably. I mean, you know, he's at Hawthorn a long time, so change can sometimes spark you up. There's no doubt about that. And I think, like, he's trying to work out whether he wants to go down the media pathway or whether he wants to go down the coaching pathway, and this will help him with that. And if he does want to go down the coaching pathway, it'll be brilliant experience with him with a young group of players, because he's been so used to being with an experienced group that's achieved success that, you know, our task is a different task than the one that was faced at Hawthorn, and it'll be great for his development as a coach. So I'm sure if he chooses to go down that pathway, he'll be very successful.
Has he probably kind of learned your game plan pretty quickly?
Who's that?
Hodge.
Oh yeah, Hodgie will, because there's a fair bit of Hawthorn in me, because I was there for 9 years. So a lot of the things that we do are pretty similar to the Hawks, and you know, I'm not too ashamed to say that, because they played the game pretty well. So for him, there wouldn't be a great deal of learning to do. Just a couple of little things that we do differently that he picks up pretty quickly, because he's a great thinker on the game.
Hodgie can do pretty much anything. Can you see him being a senior coach one day? Has he got that element?
Yeah, I think he has. You know, probably 8 years ago, if I had asked that question, I would have gone, I'm not so sure, but he's matured so well over the last few years. Not only does he understand the game really well, he's a good people person, and you know, he knows how to get the best out of people as well. So I think, you know, with some more experience in the coaching side, I think that's not beyond the realms of possibility for him.
And when he plays with the Lions against the Hawks here on Newtown Stadium in the new year, it'll be a pretty big game for him. Oh
yeah, well, it is. I mean, I know last year when we played down here, that was my most nervous day in the box. I don't know, because I guess I'd spent so long with the Hawks, and you know, I knew all the blokes along the other side, and it seemed quite strange coaching against fellows that you had so much respect for. So he'll no doubt feel that, but he's a he's a massive competitor, and it'll be a little bit like playing against his brothers, I suppose. And when you play against your brothers, sometimes you try harder than you would otherwise. So yeah, I'm expecting Hodgie to turn up at his competitive best, and I'm sure there'll be a little bit of banter going on out on the field with his old teammates.
He might be your secret weapon to come away with the win from Tasmania.
Well, he no doubt knows the players on the opposition really well, and knows this ground really well. So let's hope he is.
Robert mentioned that was one of the fiercer, maybe footy sessions or contact sessions there you had for the pre-season. Did you like what you saw today?
Yeah, we've probably ramped it up a fair bit this year. The competitive side of our training, we feel that's a part of the game that we need to get better at. We haven't been great at contested ball as a footy club for about 5 or 6 years now, and you know, we need to win more contested ball so we can supply it to our forward line more regularly and not have to defend so many inside 50s against. So that's been a focus for us. It's a risky way to train in a way because you can get injuries doing it, but the only way to toughen up and get better and improve your technique is to put yourselves in that situation more often, which is what we've done, and so far so good.
It came off early in the session there.
Yeah, he got a bit of a knock to the thigh, which sort of he strained the medial ligament slightly. It's very minor. You know, it's one of those ones where he might miss a game if we're in season.
You mentioned that it's a bit of a risky strategy playing so contested. Like, you obviously don't want to get an injury, but you're prepared to sort of roll that dice, obviously, for the sake of improving that contested side.
Well, you sort of have to, because you can't imagine your way into improving your contested ball. You just got to get out there and practice it and improve your technique. So, yeah, not really any great choice. I mean, we do a lot of drills where there's a bit more control over it, and you're really practicing pure technique. But in the competitive games, it's full on. So it's the risk we have to take, and I think all the good clubs do. I mean, if you go and watch a Sydney Swans train, you know, they train hard like that all the time, and we've just got to condition our boys to that. That's the way we do it.
Well, they look like they were itching to do it by the way they are.
Yeah, no, their attitude's been fantastic. I mean, they want to improve and to, you know, earn the respect of the competition. We sort of started that process last year, made some good ground late in the year. You get the feeling with the way that they've turned up this pre-season that they want to continue on that pathway.
Zane Littlejohn, just want to ask one of him as well. How's his development been over last season?
I want me to say brilliant, outstanding. No, it has been. He's been a good contributor to us. I mean, he's got a teaching background which helps in our development area. We've got so many young players, and he helps Jed Adcock out with the forwards. And you know, he's starting to take a little bit more responsibility around training. And you know, we're keen to grow him as a coach, not upwardly, but in terms of his coaching, that's almost impossible, the upwardly stuff.
Is Brisbane probably kind of coming like here, like in the pre-season? Like, is that going to be like an annual kind of thing, do you reckon?
No, probably not. I was just talking to Robert Gronewegan up there. They're ripping up the ground next season, and it won't be available. So we probably look at our camps. You know, we do probably come to one place 2 years in a row, then look for a different venue. So we like the idea of training in the cooler climates. So we'll just explore some options maybe down south. I know the people up the north don't like it when people go down the south, but I'm a Tasmanian, so I don't care which part we go to. So we might do that, or we might choose another option, but we'll certainly be looking for that relief from the heat.
Would you like to see a team? I mean, of course you would like to see a team. Is it feasible to have a team down here?
Well, I've always thought that there should be a team down here. I mean, it's of the 4 original football states, South Australia, Western Australia, Victoria, Tasmania was the 4th. So it makes logical sense from a cultural heritage sort of view of the game that Tasmania should have their own team. People down here love their footy, and I've got no doubt that if Tasmania were to have their own team, it would be incredibly well supported. The home ground advantage would be significant, and I'm sure that the team would be successful, and I hope at some point in time that that's what occurs. You know, I understand why the AFL went to the new marketplaces like New South Wales and Queensland and wanted to add teams there, but they shouldn't ignore the fact that this place is such a strong Aussie rules state.
You're putting your hand up to coach, maybe?
Oh, well, but I need to hurry up because I'm not that young, in case you didn't realise that.
When
new places, Chris. Would you go to the gravel in Queenstown?
The gravel in Queenstown, well, it's okay if it rains. Very good surface if it rains, not good if you fall on it. Good place to learn to keep your feet.